Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. You've got a story to share, a message to inspire, and a passion ready to ignite. But where do you start? The world is waiting for your voice. With From Idea to Implementation, Start Your Own Podcast, you'll get the roadmap to turn your vision into reality. This isn't just a course, it's your launching pad. Step by step, we'll break down the process from defining your purpose to recording your first episode so you can finally share your voice with confidence. Stop overthinking it and start doing it. Your voice has the power to connect and lead. Are you ready to use it? Join the waitlist today. Your podcast journey starts now. The world is waiting. You can find the link to sign up for the waitlist in the show notes. We'll see you soon. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, host of your Empowerography Podcast, a platform that was created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest is Lesley Logan. Welcome, Lesley. How are you?
Oh, Brad, I'm good. I'm doing great. We were just talking before we record, like sometimes you just have to laugh at it. And today has been an interesting day.
Let's just talk about our journey to get here today. It's been one hell of a twisty, windy road, but here we are. So let's jump in and share about all the beautiful things that you create and put out into the world. Share a little bit about your story and your journey. I'm excited to jump in. So with that being said, Lesley, you are a certified Pilates teacher, a breathwork, habits, and mindset coach, an author, a podcast host, and the founder of online Pilates classes, pilatesclasses.com. You wear many hats. Which version of you came first, and which has taught you the most about who you are at your core?
Becoming a Pilates instructor, as I still am doing today, it's still the hat I wear. So I guess out of all those, first came the Pilates instructor. Then I fell into entrepreneurship. I don't think I actually even thought I could be an entrepreneur. There's no entrepreneurs in my family. So that was like a reluctant hat that was provided to me. And then what happened is I was traveling so much. My husband said, your clients probably aren't going to be as excited as you are. Like you're getting popular, but that's not great for them. So that's where the OPC, onlinepilatesclasses.com came from. And then the podcasting came from just being asked all the time, like, how are you so confident? Because it's really interesting how people can look at someone and just put things on them. Like they see things and they go, that person, she's confident. And what they don't see is like the shaking on the inside or the trying things out or wondering if this is working. Are people understanding what I'm saying? And so I think what taught me the most was just being a Pilates instructor and understanding like you can say the same thing to someone as you said to someone else and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
There's different types of learners. You can how you think about yourself and how I learned so much about myself as a Pilates instructor, not just what my clients taught me. And so I'll just say that's the hat that came first. And that's the role and the version of me that like has taught me the most, because the more I did Pilates, just like being a Pilates person, the more connected to myself I got. And the more I realized like the perfectionist side of me wasn't actually helping me. And also like how to really make sure I was taking care of myself first, because when you do Pilates, you actually have to take care of yourself. You can't actually take care of other people. And that is the only reason why I can wear all these hats or have these different versions. And I think when people go, wow, you're so busy. I'm not. I mean, the day is full, like from 9 to 4, the day is full. But from before and after that, it's all about taking care of me. And that's what I learned from Pilates. Yeah.
Love it. It's a hard lesson to learn, to put ourselves first and take care of ourselves first, because we have all been conditioned and taught that's selfish. And it's exactly the opposite. It's not selfish. It's absolutely necessary, as you said, in order to be able to, of course, first serve yourself, but also serve all of those around you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
How has your identity evolved as you've shifted through the different roles that you hold? Teacher, guide, author, coach, all of those things.
Yeah, I love this question because I like, it's so funny. I don't think we often think about that, right? Like how has it evolved? And I am a much kinder person in my expectations of myself and others. And I hope everyone feels that way as they get older, but I don't think that's the case. As I just look at other people, I think they become more judgmental of others. But I have found like the only way that I can invite people in, that I can actually be there for people, is to invite them to have kindness and grace for themselves. And so that really had to be something that I learned. Yeah. And I'm an oldest child who's a perfectionist and everything. And so of course, like that goes the antithesis of how I was raised and my personality traits, but it's been the one thing that's really helped me grow.
It's a constant practice too, like everything else, the work that we have to do on ourselves. That self-compassion and self-kindness is also a learned behavior, and you have to continually practice it because we are our own worst enemies. We are so unkind to ourselves typically. The way we speak to ourselves, the way we think about ourselves is not good.
Yeah. Mostly, I went to years ago, I'll say like this was in 2018 or 2019, February of 2019. I went to a women's 500 person event, and this person had us like write down like the things that we say to ourselves. And so we wrote it down, and she's okay, now say this, write down the things you say that on the worst day. What do you say? You write it down. And then she said, I need 2 volunteers. And so people raise their hand. I'm like, I feel like I see where this is going. And they had to trade their papers and read it to the person. Read it like they were saying it out loud. And it was so emotional. It was so emotional. I think a little traumatizing, but so emotional because everything you say inside is now, it's not only being said out loud where other people can hear it, it's being said to another person. And it just made everyone go, whoa, what I'm saying hurts, because it hurts me to watch this. I'm in tears. And that was really before, that was the beginning-ish of some of the business I was doing. Like I had my studio, I was traveling at that time, but I hadn't fully launched OPC. I hadn't done a lot of things. I was still living in Los Angeles. And so I heard that and I was like, oh, I never want anyone to hear what I'm saying out loud. And if that's how I feel about it, I probably should change what I'm saying inside, because it could come out someday. And I think, and like, it's just something we have to learn.
That is an incredibly powerful exercise to do, to wake you up as to, holy shit, I don't talk to myself very nicely. That is, wow.
Yeah, because we do it so much that we don't actually hear how bad it is. But when you hear it out loud and you're saying it to someone, and the girl was like, I can't say this. That's not who she is. And the one's finish reading your paper. She's like, you have to finish reading your paper. And I was just like, oh my God, we got it. We got the point. And it was a necessary step. And what I'll say is like, when I got into Pilates, kicking and screaming, and I just didn't think it would be a worthwhile endeavor, but my first class, I felt what it was like to be in my body and to have this like mind body connection. And I think going back to what we're saying, most of that stuff we're saying is like all in our heads. Most of us are not in our bodies. And so the years of doing Pilates kind of prepared me to like witness that and then take that lesson in and take it to the next level. Because if you don't have time in your body, it's really hard for you to know like how what you're saying and what you're internalizing affects you and how to be kind and gracious. Like most people are such perfectionists. I definitely was one. I'm definitely still in recovery. I feel like if I say I'm no longer perfectionist, that's actually very perfectionist-y. So like I find like that having a consistent Pilates practice means I have to have grace. Oh, my back's tight today. Oh, I'm moving slowly today. I can't say it in a judgment form. It's an observation. And then it's okay, what does my body need to be more open? What does my body need? If I can't do this, what can I do? And it really forced me that practice. And then on top of that, it's really changed how I really handle different situations and myself.
That is, I have to keep that exercise in mind. That's very powerful to do in a group setting.
Yes.
Holy
yeah. I can tell you, it's really crazy how impactful that was. And I don't even remember the year I went to that same event, and I don't remember anything else from that event.
That's powerful. Lesley, what is one of the hardest lessons that you've learned through all the work you do, and how did it change you?
I think the hardest lesson I've had to learn is just because you built it and they need it doesn't mean they come. Just because you've figured out what will solve the person's problems that you've created something for, and you talk about it and it's for them and they love you, doesn't mean they'll buy it. And that was really hard because I came into everything like with rose colored glasses. I'm like listening to all these entrepreneur podcasts. Here's how you launch and here's how you do this. And you can do all of that. And people can still either not get it, not understand it, or it's not right time. And so having to learn like, again, not fall into my perfectionist tendencies, go, I did everything.
Yeah.
And they don't like it yet.
Yes,
so am I barking up the right tree? Or is it just more time? What do I need? And to not go, I have to do more, I have to be better. Maybe, or maybe everything is correct and I'm talking to the wrong person, or it's the wrong time, or it's the wrong package. And so it's really, I'm not saying I've like solidly learned this lesson, but I definitely have gotten to a place where I can be more movable during projects and sales times and marketing times to go, okay, hold on, they're not buying. I know they need this. So what do I need to say? And just becoming more movable or flexible around that. And also, just because they don't buy it doesn't mean they don't like you.
Yeah, very true.
They don't want it.
Because we create this story in our head. Oh, it's got to be me.
Oh, yeah.
Again, tying into the shitty ways that we talk to ourselves and how difficult and hard we are on ourselves. We create, and more often than not, it's a bullshit story that we have created. It's not even true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
And it also, and by the way, for everyone listening, that story, if you keep playing it loudly while you're working, it starts to embed itself in everything you put out there. And then you just attract people you don't really want to work with because of the people who are attracted to that story.
Yes, exactly. Very true. Thank you for pointing that out and sharing that. How did your own personal healing or transformation journey lead you into this multifaceted work?
Yeah, I put myself through college, and I share that only because I think it's important to know I had no money to actually go. I think when we think about healing journeys and all that stuff, like you think therapy, you think sound baths, you think a yoga practice. Like I went to a private university as well. And so I was very deeply in debt, and I managed a retail store. But like when you take Orange County rents from California, and then you take your student loan bills and you take car insurance, all that stuff, there was just not a lot of money left over. And so I had to really try to figure out like a healing journey from what was available. And there are notions that if you don't pay for something, you don't value something, but you can also value your time and that place it on there. And so I think for anyone who can't afford healing journeys, like there's so much free content out there right now. There's so much. You have to give your email away to get free help.
Yeah.
And I highly encourage you to do that if you can't afford it. And so what I didn't know is my Pilates practice would be part of that healing journey. And it really helped me just feel what was, because if you ask me, like, where do you feel it? Like there's a therapist, somatic therapist, like, where do you feel it in your body? Telling you before 2005, I'd be like, are you a lunatic? What do you mean feel it in my body? Like I was so disconnected.
Yeah.
So my Pilates practice really helped because I think healing can be so holistic. And then through that, I found I actually got into yoga only because I really wanted to know why some Pilates exercises look like yoga and why people confuse yoga with Pilates. They're not the same thing. They're very different things. But I found myself really enjoying being a student. And I think being a student is also of something you don't teach and that you don't make money off of is really a great way to learn about yourself and then understand. And then when my financial situation changed, that's when I did do somatic therapy. And I did it for a year, and it wasn't something I could afford weekly, but I would be really intentional. And I would and this is for everyone, I asked for homework. What do I need to do between meetings? I can't meet with you every week. So what do I need to do? And then because it got so good at asking for homework, I got to a place where, not that I don't need therapy, but I remember wanting to have a call with her. And I remember being able to hear her voice ask me the question, where do I feel this in my body? Okay, now if I imagined, and I did one of the practices and I'm like, oh, I can help myself. I have the tools myself. And I think that's really important because I think sometimes we go on these healing journeys and we get latched on and we're no longer good without this life raft. And it's like your life raft should get you to the island. Yeah. You get your feet on the ground. So that was kind of my journey. And in that, because that's somatic therapy, there was some breath work. And I really didn't always understand what she was trying to get me to learn, but I really liked how I felt in breath work. And so that led me to doing a breathwork training because I was like, even if I just do it for myself, I'll love this. But I have found in coaching people, because I do business coaching and I do have a mentorship program, I have found that sometimes it's like, it's not another strategy that they need. They don't need to learn a new exercise. They actually need to be still and calm down. And they need to, or heaven forbid, we tell them to calm down. We need to meet the anxiety with the breath work and bring it down. And then we can actually dive into what's the strategy or what is the thing that they need to learn. And so I really wanted a tool that I could use to help people like get to present. And so that's how that journey went. And then along the way, I actually wanted to learn about habits and I wanted to learn about mindset. And this is really key, like, because I am someone who's, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't need to tell anyone. I don't need accountability. Like, I'm just that person.
Yeah.
So that's really easy for me. But working with the public, that's not how everyone works. And I was like, so what is going on, and how do we identify, and how do we help people? Because most people don't know they need to be on a healing journey, and some things are outside of my scope. So what is in my scope, and what trainings can I get so that I can actually help people understand the mindset that they have, that they're bringing into this practice, is actually keeping them from having the results that they want. So what are the signs there, and how do I coach that? And are they coachable? And then with habits, I really wanted to understand, like, is it really 21 days or 60 days? And that's actually a lie. It's none of that. It's all about the emotions we have around the thing. Okay. And you actually cannot break habits, bad habits either, because they're not like a stick. They're a woven weave of things we created together that give us certainty or really help with things. So that's like my curiosity. And I would probably never say I was a curious child. I think I was just like so perfectionist, like, I'll just do whatever you say. Let me check the box. Yeah. But as an adult, the more I ditched the perfection, the more I got curious about things, the more I realized, like, in healing myself, I could then have tools that could help me, because I'm going to attract people who I once was. So how can I use my journey to assist them into becoming their whole self? And then either they stick around and they do Pilates with me, or they sail right on to someone else, and that's okay. They'll be in a whole place.
That's right. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So Lesley, you teach people how to move with intention, but how do you teach someone to listen to their body when they've spent years ignoring it?
Oh my gosh. Such a good question. First of all, I think people who've spent years ignoring it aren't actually necessarily aware that they need to move with intention, but they have, at some point they're told they need to move, or someone told them they need to Pilates or this or whatever. And since I teach a lot of teachers, what do you do with the people who are like so disconnected or deconditioned? And the reality is we just have to want them to come back tomorrow. And so my goal isn't to educate you on every single way you have to like listen to your body, because you and your body actually and have moved with intention for so long, it's like a foreign language. And we don't learn a foreign language overnight. And that's the older we get, the harder it is to learn those things. So the reality is, I want to know why you want to move. So the person who's like, why do you want to do this? What is the goal? And it can, look, here's the deal. It can be aesthetic. It could totally be vanity. That's fine with me, because I don't really care what your why is. You just need to have one. Now, it also could be that you actually want to go on a vacation and you need to be able to walk without pain, right? I need to know, right, what it is. Then what I want to do is go, okay, here's the movement we're doing, and this is how it's actually going to help you with that. And then here's what we can't do together with this, because, side note, not a single fitness program out there can help you with the vanity things that you're wanting to do. They assist a nutrition program and balanced hormones. So please, ladies, balance your hormones. And then you have to have a nutrition program for you. But once I do that, then it's like, the more we come back and the more fun we're having, then it's a bit easier, because now it's okay. I've learned the letter A and I can feel my pinky toe. Okay, great. Then it's okay. It's just a slow buildup. Now, if it's online, then, which is what I usually teach people and how people meet me, and I don't even get to see them, I'm constantly asking them, if you cannot do this exercise I'm about to do, and you'll know because you'll be at home and you'll try to do it, you can't do it, then I ask you, what exercise did we do that was a challenge for you? Replace it with that. And you being brave and courageous to not force yourself to do something you can't do yet, and try to remember something we did do, it helps you on a subconscious level compare yourself to yourself. And that is how we get people to listen to their bodies and be intentional in their movement. It is not teaching you 75 exercises, entertaining you with music and all these things. All that stuff I love a good playlist when I'm working, but when I'm working out, I don't have that, because all those sounds, all those rhythms are actually changing how you listen to your body. And so we have to stop thinking that fitness is supposed to entertain us, and instead see our movement practice as something that is filling up our cup, that is giving us something. And the only way to do that is to like truly be able to listen, but your listening might be like, oh, that feels really weird in my right leg. Okay. We either don't do it because it's painful, or we ask ourselves, was it hard? Is it just hard? There's a difference between pain and hurt, right? And like hard and difficult. And I would just say a long answer to your question is, if you are someone who is disconnected and you're starting a movement practice, start asking questions. Ask questions, because our brain doesn't love open loops. And so it will leak things out. And then do whatever you can to be consistent And so don't pick things that make you so sore you're going to fall on the toilet to sit down. Pick things that meet you where you are and then ask you to compare yourself to yourself and not anyone else. So no race. I'm not, and you'll never find me in a spin class or racing someone. If I'm in a spin class, I don't care what other people are doing. I'm going to race myself. Yeah. Oh, I went faster than I went. And that's something we have to, but that takes time. Yeah. So it just takes time. And I just think that unfortunately the media has gone back into these exercises tone you, these exercises help you drop a put. We're back until everyone needs to be smaller. And you guys, that is such a distraction from you understanding like what makes me strong and what makes me feel good.
As long as you can look back and see the progress that you've made. And that's, I say this all the time, the only competition out there is the one I have with me. That's it. Yeah. No one else. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Who gives a shit? It's as long as I can see that I've improved and I've progressed over time. That's all that matters. That's the only competition we need to worry about, because I believe that there's more than enough out there to go around for everybody. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah. I mean, the world has you thinking everything's a pie. Yeah. And if you get a slice, Brad, and I get a slice, there's no slice for the person listening right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is actually no pie. And there's enough for everyone. But what happens is people start hoarding, and then they start thinking that then I won't have enough.
Yeah.
And really, like, there is so much. I tell this to clients all the time, like people I teach, who are like, oh my God, someone else joined the program and they're down the street from me. I'm like, there's 1 million people in your city. This is how math works. You need 150 clients in your studio to consistently make the money you want to make. And there's 1 million people in your city. Don't worry about them. No. Don't even worry about them knowing what you're doing. In fact, you guys can work together. But so I think it's like requires us to go inward.
Yeah.
And compare ourselves to ourselves. And I remember the first time I was asked to do this, I fractured my tibial plateau in 2013 running, and I didn't need surgery. So once my tibia healed, I could go back to weight bearing, and my trainer was giving me some stuff, and I was like, oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. And he goes, is it hard or is it pain? Mm-hmm. And then I had to ask myself, is it hard or is it pain?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I think this is just hard. And I had to recognize that my body had declined in the ability to squat because I'd been off my leg. Then I can't compare myself to that person's squats. And I can't even compare myself to who I was before I broke my leg, because I'm a different person now.
Yeah.
I think there's I wish we could teach the kindness we try to teach kindergartners to be with other people. It really has to be with ourselves.
For sure.
And then continue to be curious in everything. Oh, I don't like that exercise. Why don't you like it? Mm-hmm. Is it because it's difficult for you? Okay, then you need it. I hate to break it to you. Yeah. You need it because it's something that's easy. It's not worth doing, and you wouldn't do it. That's why we like the Olympics. We like Olympics and competitions because it's not easy for them to do what they're doing. And then they're going to do it on the world stage.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I love that. Thank you. What is the fire that keeps you showing up for this work, even on the hard days?
I'm not done. And I think I have so much more to learn. And I'm on a mission for more bodies to do Pilates. And one would say that Pilates is the most popular thing right now. So is that even a mission that needs to happen? And I would say yes, because the popularity of Pilates has turned it into mostly a group fitness thing that's about entertainment and not inward inquiries and inquisition. And so I still feel like there are a lot of bodies that haven't actually experienced a Pilates practice yet and what that is for them. And so I get up every day because I really love what I do. I love how it makes me feel. And I just want everyone else to feel that way.
You want to scream it from the mountaintops.
I do.
Exactly.
I do. I really,
when you find that thing that lights you up and you know in your heart of hearts, in your soul, that it can help people. Yeah, I want to scream it from the fucking rooftops. I want to scream it from the mountaintops so that other people can learn about it and experience it and do better for themselves.
Yes, exactly.
If you could go back to the woman you were before you began this journey, what would you whisper in her ear?
Oh, move a little bit faster and stop worrying so much. A little faster, stop worrying so much. Don't worry about other people that they think of you. Like, I think that lesson of what other people think of me, unfortunately, took longer than I thought. Like, I thought I had figured it out. And then right before I was 40, I learned, nope, you still haven't learned that lesson. And so I think that's what I would tell her, is like, just move a little faster and don't worry so much.
Do you believe that there's a difference between strength and resilience? And if so, how do you define each of those things in your life?
That's so interesting. My friends are always like, you're the most resilient person I know.
Mm.
And I remember saying to them, I'm really tired of being resilient.
I don't like this label.
I don't really like being because I was just like I was thinking resilience is those like things that blow in the like with the air at the car dealerships,
Yep.
like people.
Yes.
And I was just like, they just get knocked over and they come back up and they get knocked over. I'm like, am I that person? Just is that what resilience? Because that's what it felt like. I felt like I was just like knocked over. So I actually don't think that they're the same things. I'm wrong. And maybe as a verbal processor, I'll change my mind as I say this. But to me, a strength is this quality that we were even gifted. It's like something we honed in that you know about and that you lean into. So if you've ever done Gallup's Strength Finders 2.0, like one of my strengths is significance. I have to be part of something that makes a difference. And then the other thing is I have activator. I take action quickly. Positivity. I am a super positive person. I'm more positive than I am negative. And then woo, I win others over. So knowing what my strengths are, I actually hone in on those. And I actually worry less about what I'm not good at. And I actually hire for that. And I really focus on what am I good at and how can I be better at that? Where resilience is like the ability to, when you get knocked down, you get back up again. And it doesn't have to do with the activator or the significance or the woo. It has everything to do with I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
I'm just not done.
I love though that you said that focus on your strength, the things you're good at. I think that's something that the education system can take a page from, because if a kid's really good at math and not good at English, we need to focus on the English. You need to get better. Why not focus on the fucking math? Don't worry about the English. I mean, not to say you don't need English, but of course you do, but focus on their strengths instead of trying to make them good at everything. Make them really fucking good at one thing that they excel at and can do amazing at.
Also, show them how in Vegas, they have like more of an artistic school. So they still do math and they still do science, but all the projects deal with art. Is an art project and the science is an art project. And I heard this one project they were doing in science and I was like, I would have taken that science class. Like I would have been in there. And so it's like, maybe figure out how to do an English class for math level. Yeah. I think, and that's where it's complicated, but I believe we can do complicated things. I really do. And I just remember like working so hard on being a more organized person and just starting to fail at things in my life. Yeah. And here I am, 42. I am an ADHD woman. I'm not going to be organized. It's not happening. I'm going to have 3 to-do lists for the same day. They'll have different things on it and they'll be on different places and I'll never check them again. It's not a thing. And so for me to spend any of my time is going to be draining. Yeah. From, why don't I hire an organized person?
Yeah, exactly.
To keep me organized. So I think somewhere along the line, a parent or a partner or a boss or a teacher told you you're not good enough here. You need to focus on that. But like when you're in a sport, if you're not good at soccer, we don't force you to stay in soccer. No. We move you to the cricket team or the basketball team or pickleball or art or wrestling, or you become a photographer. Like we seem to understand this for extracurricular activities, but we don't think about it as an intelligence or as a leadership or something like that. And what happens is you get promoted at work into the sales manager role because you're the best salesperson. That doesn't mean you're not the best manager. You know what I mean? Right. So I don't know. I learned that I'll never forget. It was like 2013. I was reading Strength Finders 2.0 and I was like, I'm focusing on the wrong things. What if I turn my attention to accelerating what I'm great at? What happens?
That's it. That's exactly it. That's the key. In your opinion, I want to dive into the whole mindset and habits part of your journey for a minute. If you had to name one non-negotiable mental habit for emotional and physical wellness, what would it be and why?
Walking outside without anything in your ears.
That's pretty easy.
It's really easy. It's free. It's free. Okay. And you will not want to do it when you need it. But I promise every time I've had a frustrating thing, because of course everything, like something goes wrong, tech goes wrong, the thing goes wrong. And my husband and I, we have a great block we live on. We happen to have a great block we live on. We literally walk around just the block. Even if it's 110, I live in Las Vegas. So what? Put on your sunscreen, put on a hat and just do one block. It's 10 minutes if we go slow. But if you just do that without listening, without your phone, without any of that stuff, you've actually calmed your nervous system. get grounded, you have a better ability to go back to whatever is going on. So that would be my favorite thing. And it's free. You don't have to learn how to sit still. You don't have to have a chair or a corner or a playlist. No, go for a walk outside.
And it's exercise. You're moving your body.
Yes. You're getting blood flow.
Yeah.
Exactly. You guys, your calves are your second heart. The only way they pump is if you take a step.
In your opinion, why do we so often fail to make habits stick? And what's the key ingredient to lasting transformation?
Okay. So BJ Fogg has a great book called Tiny Habits. I studied with him. Everyone likes to quote Atomic Habits. I'm going to tell you all right now, it's good. Tiny Habits is better. And it's because he is the behavior scientist from Stanford who does all these studies that all these people are writing their habits on. And what he said is most people are making a habit too all or nothing and too big. And so what you want to do with anything, a feeling, a result, a goal, you want to take a piece of paper and write down everything you could do that could help you get to that. So he gave an example. He wanted to get more sleep. So he wrote down, okay, I could have the dog sleep in a crate because if she sleeps in the bed with me, it wakes me up. I could go to bed earlier. I could turn my phone off earlier. I could eat dinner earlier. I could all these different things, right? Blah, blah, blah. Then you take another piece of paper and you draw a line going up and down and across. And on the up and down, the top is want to do, and at the bottom is don't want to do. And then on the across to the right is easy to do, and to the left is difficult to do. And then you take everything you wrote down that could help you achieve the feeling, the goal, the desire, the habit you want, and you put it somewhere along the vertical and the horizontal. And what we're left with is hopefully 2 or 3 things in that top corner next to want and easy. And then, my love, you have to test it out. So he put, it's probably easy for me to put the dog in a crate. I've got a crate. It's probably easy for me to go to bed earlier. It's probably easy for me not to use a screen. And so then you have to then make it small and easy to do. What's the easiest thing? So he tried to put the dog in the crate. And of course, the dog hates the crate. So actually he got less sleep because the dog was like freaking out in the crate the whole night. And he realized he actually likes the dog in the bed. So that's off the books. But he actually was like, it's actually easy for me to make dinner a little earlier and for me to turn my phone off and for me to go to bed a little earlier. So he set alarm to go to bed. He had a place for his phone and it took a little bit, but that's how he got it. So I think most people don't get habits that stick because they're not picking a habit that they actually want to do and that is accessible to them. They're like, I'm going to go to the gym every single day. And I would just even say, if you're going to join OPC and you never work out, you're not going to do Pilates every single day. You don't have to, you have not created a place for it to happen in your day. So that's the other thing. The other way to make habits stick is you need to celebrate and have happy thoughts around the habit. And we've already talked about it many times, Brad. What do we do when we screw up? I'm an idiot. I fucked that up. I can't do that thing. Brain associates stress and shame with that thing that you want to be a habit. So guess what it's not going to do? Think about the habit. It's not going to find opportunities to do that. Like, I find so many opportunities to sauna blanket, to do Pilates, to go for a walk outside, to drink water, to go to the gym because I have so much joy and happiness around movement. Literally like, oh, look at that gap. I could go right there. I can invite a friend. If you have judgment or shame, your brain literally won't think about the thing. So you have to have positive thoughts around it. You need a dopamine high. We actually need the dopamine high for the journey to the habit, and that's the thing that people miss out on.
Thank you for clarifying that. How do you distinguish between habits that serve growth and habits that mask pain?
So I think it's important that this comes from my yoga teacher. His name is Anthony Beninati, and he says, if it serves you, is it bad? Now, so he would say, most people would say that wine at the end of a workday is masking like things. But if that cup of wine allows you to chill out and spend time with your loved ones, is it bad? Right now, obviously, it could be bad if it becomes a habit. You become reliant on it.
If it turns into a bottle.
It turns into a bottle. But then at that point, you could ask yourself, is this bottle of wine serving me? And the answer would be no.
Yeah.
But if the glass of wine is allowing you to not freak out on your family or your partner and actually have a loving, wonderful evening, then I would say we all want to say that's bad and that's good. And even in Pilates, you want to go, that's the right way to do it. That's the wrong way to do it. And I would say no, because your body looks different than my body. So your rolling like a ball is going to look different than mine. Your plank's going to look different than my plank, right? So there's a lot of gray. And so I would just say, if the habit is keeping you from the things you want to do, then you're using it to mask things.
Yeah.
But if the habit, because we could also say you having a habit of going for a 2-mile walk every night, avoiding your family is a mask, right? Because now you're not dealing with your partner.
Yep.
So I think it's so easy for us to go, drinking is bad, walking is good. But they equally could actually be the opposite when it comes to what serves you. So I would just say, if there's something you don't like about yourself, if there's a habit that you do that you actually are embarrassed to share with people, I think that's a great place to go. I'd be embarrassed to tell people that I watched Netflix for 2 hours. Then it's important to look at, okay, what comes before that habit? Because there's a prompt. There's a bell that goes off that it's time for me to do this. And so we have to unravel the prompts. So whatever happens that makes you sit down and binge out, watching Netflix and eating popcorn, we could take the popcorn away. That's not going to keep you from, you'll just find something else to binge out. So we have to actually go, what is the thing? Do we actually, and we can't just turn off the Netflix. We can't just cancel it because you'll just have Hulu. You'll just have, we have to figure out, like, what's the prompt? And then what do we want to put in its place? And then we have to have kindness and grace to start small and work our way up. But I think it's just really easy for us to go, this is right, this is wrong. And a healthy person does this. Some healthy people are on the other end of the spectrum where I would worry about them too.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Thank you for clarifying that. How does the body reflect the stories that we subconsciously believe about who we are?
Okay. You guys, there is plenty of studies out there that talk about how you talk about yourself is what you grow. And of course, someone says, I didn't want cancer and I didn't tell myself cancer and I got cancer. Okay. I'm not talking about this. Okay. But if you tell yourself that you are a fat person, then they actually have studies that show that people's cells grow like that. It's a really crazy thing.
It is.
Also, they have studies where if you tell yourself I'm healed, and of course, like, everything can be taken to the wrong extent, but like, this one doctor wanted to know, when I scrape the knee, is that what heals the problem with the knee? Or is it when I drain the knee? Is it scraping or draining? So to do this, he had to have a control group that needed the surgery and got nothing. He needed someone who just got scraped and who just got drained. And what they did was every single person had the same music playing. Every single person had the same incisions. They all went under anesthesia. They had no idea what surgery they got or if they got nothing. And they discovered that the people who had no scraping and no draining because they thought they had surgery to fix their knee, and they were told their knee is better, and they told themselves their knee is better, they had the same results as people who had the full surgery. Same
Power
result.
of the mind.
It's the mind. It's the mind. And so your body reflects the stories you tell it. If you say, I'm a slow person, I'm not a smart person, I'm not an athletic person, your body isn't going to go rogue and go, let me show you that you can actually jump that fence. Because that would be bad. If our bodies could do things without our control, that would not be a great thing.
Yeah,
That would not be what we want. So you have to be grateful that your body is under your control, but also be mindful of the stories that you're telling it. And yes, we have all had lives where things have happened to us or our bodies that were not something we wanted, but we have the ability to actually get help and find ways that make us feel good so we can change that story. And when you're ready, you will.
Absolutely. Yeah, you won't until you're ready.
Right.
100%. Let's jump in and talk about breath work for a minute. I know you briefly mentioned that. What role does the breath play in regulating not just the body, but the story that we carry about ourselves?
Yeah. If you haven't read the book Breathe, I think it's a great book to read. I don't think you have to fall in love with breath work, but you can read it and it's so fascinating. So our bodies started actually changing the moment that our brain started growing, and they grew faster than the rest of us. And so that's why a lot of people have become mouth breathers. And a lot of scientists were like, oh, you have a mouth and you have a nose and they both breathe. And so it's okay. But what studies have shown is that if you do breathe through your mouth, it actually does change your body. It changes your health of your body. And in the first chapters of Breathe, you learn that when they were mouth breathing for just, I think it was like either 1 week, I think they did 2 weeks. Within 3 days, they had like a sinus infection, they had hypertension, they had all these different stress levels going up because the body has to work harder. It's crazy. It is insane. It's why mouth taping has become a thing. But the truth is our nose and our face actually doesn't stop changing. But if you do start becoming a mouth breather, your face will actually change, right? And the goal is you actually need to breathe through your nose as much as possible. Some of the best ways you can do it, best things you can do. Now, when you do breathwork practices, there's mouth breathing, there's nose breathing. Mouth breathing breathwork is typically used to create energy and activation to pull things out of you. So if you think about like how you're doing life, if you are suffering from more anxiousness than you want, check how you're breathing. The other thing is a lot of people are breathing only into their chest. That breathing is a panic breath. No wonder you have anxiety. No wonder you have a short fuse. In Joe Polai's book, he actually said, above all else, we must learn how to breathe. The lungs are a cemetery for bacteria and disease because most people are not exhaling.
Right.
They take an inhale and they don't actually fully exhale. And so what our bodies are showing is that these health issues that accrue over time, these build up over time, has everything to do with actually paying attention to how we breathe.
Isn't it fucked up that we don't know how to breathe? We forget how to breathe. We don't know how to breathe. That's fucking crazy.
It's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. And so the perfect breath is in through the nose, out the nose, and it's almost 11 seconds, about 10-ish seconds long. Most people are sipping. And they're not actually like inhaling, right?
Yeah.
Or they're holding their breath. And so all of that is creating stress, anxiety. And then James Nestor said in his book, hypertension. He had a sinus infection because he didn't breathe through his nose, right? Then within 3 days of only breathing through his nose, they like practice like different ways of taping their mouth, all this different stuff. And it was hard for him to run only breathing through his nose. Like it's really hard to do. I've tried. I was like, oh, wow, I do mouth breathe when I run. But he cured his own sinus infection just by breathing in and out through his nose, just by forcing, because what happens? You have a sinus infection, you're like, oh, I can't breathe in my nose. I'm going to breathe in my mouth. It just perpetuates the problem. So it's a really fascinating thing. You don't have to love breath work, but fall in love with breathing through your nose and how your life changes.
That's fucking crazy.
It's so weird. And I got really excited about it because, yes, as I told him with my therapist, but Joe Pilates was so big on breath. He had a breathicizer. He like had all these different exercises, like how you need to use your abdominals to fully exhale. Like it was this whole thing. And I was just like, I was obsessed with it. And here's all these studies. And you can if you look at old skeletons, have you ever noticed their teeth are perfect? And you're like, they had no dental, no orthodontist. They had perfect teeth, you know? And it's because like over time, our mouths have gotten smaller. That's affected how our teeth fit in our mouth. And orthodontic work is on making our mouth smaller, which all of that makes it harder for you to breathe through your nose.
Wow.
Yes, orthodontists used to widen your mouth, which would make it easier for you to breathe. It's insanity. You'll have to go down the rabbit hole. It is insane. It will change your life. And it really does reduce, like another free thing is just breathe in and out through your nose. And I bet you'll calm down.
Holy shit. That's incredible. Thank you for that tip. What is one misconception about breath work that you'd love to break wide open?
Yeah, I think, first of all, not all breath work is trauma informed. Not all breath work is the right breath work for you. There's patterns. And I think like it's really important if you are someone who has had trauma or recent trauma or something, any triggers that you have, that you really do find the right facilitator for you. And know that like some breath patterns might not be the right thing for you, even though breath work can be really healing. The other thing is just be mindful we always need to be mindful of who we put ourselves in our place, because when you are doing breath work, you are releasing a lot of stuff and you are susceptible to some things. And I would just really be cautious about, are you in ownership of your own thoughts and things like that? Because it's really easy to outsource things to the breathwork facilitator. And I want to just do your research, make sure you trust them.
Okay, perfect. Now,
also, because it's not a regulated industry, nor is Pilates, nor is life coaching. So yoga,
do your research,
all regulated. I'm not in regulated industries. And so it's like really important to me that you make sure you like found someone who knows what they're doing. They didn't get trained just in a weekend. They did things.
Breath connects mind, body, and spirit. How has your own relationship with breath changed the way you live your life?
It helps me slow down. I'm a busybody. I can get really in my head. I'm a recovering perfectionist. And just like when I find myself in that, I literally go, okay, I'm spiraling right now. Like I can just breathe. And then I find a way, and that helps me connect to my body. If that doesn't help, then I move my body. And that usually helps get the mind, body, and like I have a new way of seeing what's going on in the world. Yeah.
Now, as mentioned off the top, you are an author. What excites and inspires you the most about writing and being an author?
Okay, so I never thought I would be a writer. Like I talk about math and English, like I'm a reader. I'm trying to learn a new language. And when you try to learn a new language, you discover how much of the English language you don't know. So she's okay, this with a verb. And I'm like, what is a verb? Okay. But I love storytelling. I find like we learn from stories. That's why if you've read the book Sapiens, I didn't finish it. But the gist of it is like, we are still here because of storytelling. That's why the human existence has made it this long. Yeah. And so I find I can have a more cohesive thought process that I can share with other people through writing. And so I love to write. And my husband will say, everyone knows her as a Pilates instructor, a second, blah, blah, blah. But she's a writer. She's always writing. I could write a newsletter for me today and I still write them because I really like it. And I'm like, I told the team, I'm like, let it clean it up, but let me do it. Cause I just really love sharing what's on my mind, what's on my heart. And I think that that's what makes people feel seen.
Yeah. Beautiful. Now I would love for you to speak a little bit about your book. Can you tell us the title and what it's about and what that experience was like for you putting that out into the world?
Yeah. So I was running Pilates studios and was struggling because a lot of people were coming in. I mentioned I'm like industry. So they'd paid for trainings and I couldn't hire them because they hadn't been trained on all the equipment. And so it was a liability for letting me in. And it was heartbreaking to tell these people who'd spent all this money that I could not hire them. And they're like, but why? I need to work. I can work. I'm a really good teacher. And I'm like, I know. And so I was like, I'm tired of having people cry in my office. So I decided, what if there was a book that actually helped people before they became a teacher? And then what if that book also myth busted a lot of things that I was hearing? I became a Pilates instructor in 2008. And obviously we all know what was going on in 2008. And people are telling me you can't charge that much. You can't charge that much. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but I live in LA and I have rent to pay. So I have to charge this much because I can't work 60 hours a week. I can do math. So I was like, this is what this company I work at is charging. So why can't I charge what they're charging? Right. So that's how I did it. And so I ended up becoming so busy in 2008 that I had to quit my real job and teach Pilates full time. So I was like, what if I put that all in a book? And so I actually am so proud of that book. Today, when I put it out in the process of putting thoughts together and writing my first book and like having chapters and having the chapters make sense and having them flow together, like again, ADHD, organized, not. So what I actually did was I hired an editor to help me organize. She's okay. You're going to write your table of contents. Okay. And then for each chapter, you're going to write 3 to 5 points that are going to happen in that chapter. And so she helped me write basically outlines. And it was really good to have that framework. And then the other thing I did is I'm really good at procrastinating. So what I forced myself to do is park my car at a meter, pay for the max time on the meter, sit at a coffee shop. And I had to finish that chapter before the meter went up.
Holy
At
shit.
least the first draft, right? Like just get the first draft done. Yeah. And that forced me after 10 Sundays to have my 10 chapters. And then of course there was editing and all that stuff. And then I almost didn't publish it because no one was going to publish Pilates training book because there's not, at the time, no one was becoming a Pilates instructor, but I had to self-publish it. And I almost didn't. And the girl who edited it, she's like, oh, I haven't seen it out. I really hope that you aren't going to hide it.
Yeah.
And so I put it out there but I was so nervous about what other people would think that I really didn't give it its like proper like thing. And then life went on, but it was on Amazon and people come up to me and go, your book really helped me. Your book really helped me. And the more I heard that, the more I was like, oh, this is really good. And then about 3 years ago, I actually edited the book to just make it more current because there were some things that changed in the industry.
Right.
And so I made it more current and we did a whole republishing. But when I edited it, I got to read it and go, this is fucking great. I did a great job. And so I just answer your question, like it was everything that I was worried about myself was like I had to process that to write that book. I had to put things in place. And I really wish I could have gone back and moved faster and not worried so much. That would have made that book better. But at the same time, like being able to sit there and edit it and go, this is actually, there's only 4 things I have to really edit here. We can just make it better with like all the new QR codes and all that stuff. And so I also will say after I wrote the book, I was like, I'm never writing another book again. And I can tell you right now, never say never. I do want to write again. It's not happening anytime soon because I have been producing Pilates flashcards and each box is 60 cards or 115 cards. And so it's like I'm writing a book. I've written 6 books, but they're in form of flashcards. And so my team is, you can write another book when you finish this project. And so there is another book in me that I think will be about like how Pilates like really helped me get connected to myself. And that will be more hopefully for the public. But I'm so excited that I'm here now. It won't be my first one. I'll know my activators, I'll know my triggers, and I'll also know that I can do it.
Absolutely. I love that. And so as an author, how did writing your book change you? And what did it reveal to you about yourself?
One, it's pretty cool to say you're an author. So I think it just a little pep in my step for sure. But it really did change me in that you have to, it was my first step into really thinking about the person who is going to receive the item that you're creating. A lot of people like to create a product or an item or something based on them.
Yeah.
And that's great. It's a great hobby. But if you actually want it to help other people, you have to think about where the other people are at when they find this book, when they come in contact with it. And so I really had to be thinking about who is picking this up and what are they going through? Where are they at in their life when they read it? And it really forced me to see things from other people's perspective and not just get so caught up in what do I want to talk about right now.
Beautiful. Now, I also mentioned at the beginning, you are a podcast host. Can you share with us the name of your podcast? Is it interview style, solo episodes, a mix? What's the subject matter? And what was the inspiration for you to start a podcast?
It's called Be It Till You See It. And it's the idea of acting as if you're the person before someone has deemed you, coordinated you, or until you are ready. Like you act like the person that you want to be. You want to be a writer? You act like, what would a writer do? They'd write every day. They'd write bad things every day. So you do it until all of a sudden you realize I am that person. That's what it's called. And it became that because one, I always want to have a podcast. And to answer your question, is interviews. One episode a week's an interview. The other episode, my husband and I talk about the interview. And then on Fridays, it's called Fuck Yeah Friday. And it's just about sharing things that inspire me on the internet, sharing wins of our listeners and sharing a win of mine. So people can hear what a win is, because I think so often we're like, oh, until I've finished the whole thing and gotten the award for it, then I've achieved it. And actually the other day, my win was like, I got up today on time. And my computer was charged, which means I like slayed the night before. And that's a win. Like sometimes wins are like sometimes the day is so hard. You have to go, oh my God, the win was things got done on time.
Yeah.
But the idea came out. I wanted to have a podcast for a really long time. People were asking me if we were doing a podcast because of who I am in the Pilates world. But I didn't want to have a Pilates podcast because first of all, even as you all are listening to this, like it's really hard to talk about Pilates. You have to do it. And the way my teacher Jay used to do with Joe Pilates, you can't talk Pilates into a body. They have to do it. So it's just that people do have Pilates podcasts, but I find them to be like, it's really esoteric. So I really wanted to have something that was like not necessarily Pilates, but maybe Pilates people listen to it. And I'm sure you've heard this too, Brad. Like people always like the thing that people want from you is the thing they ask you about all the time. And people kept asking me, how do you do that? How are you doing that? How do you have so much confidence? And I'm like, what is going on? What are they seeing? And so it's, oh, what am I doing? Oh, I'm doing it before I'm ready. I'm doing it really scared. I'm putting things out there, getting feedback and trying again. And I'm acting like I'm doing it before I'm ready. So that is letting them see confidence and CEO and all these things, even though I don't feel like I'm those things yet. Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to interview people who know how to do that, and functional medicine doctors, therapists, like brain doctors, like all the habits people, all these different experts in like, how do we overcome fear and anxiety and all these things? And also people who have done it.
Yeah.
And it's led to some really cool conversations. I've learned so many things. And really, I think it's just really fun for me because a lot of people who do Pilates with me on my platform or who want to or whatever, when I do see them in person, they're like, oh, episode 4 or whatever really changed my life. And I like love that we get to have a conversation that isn't about bodies or like exercises, but it's on something that's going on with humankind, because I really think Pilates is going to create world peace. Like I think the more people are connected to themselves, then they can connect to others. And also the more people learn about themselves. And so if I can have a guest that teaches them something about themselves, they have an aha moment, it allows them to have another layer in their practice. So it's just like all encompassing. And someday when I'm retired from teaching, I'll have this podcast that I get to keep doing. So I started early.
I love it. You are the founder of onlinepilatesclasses.com. Can you tell us about all the things onlinepilatesclasses.com? What inspired starting the online business, and when you started it, when you started it and what it's all about. All the
Yeah.
things.
So OPC, me for my 90s people. It's just really a fun little inside joke our members have. We tend to attract people over 40. Like I said earlier, I started traveling a lot and my husband was like, you need to have a platform for people. And I was like, like, I think in person is so important. There's the accountability, there's the community, like the class disappears. So if they don't come, they miss it. And he goes, yeah, but you still have to have something for people so that they can do it. Or when they travel, they could do it. And so in 2017, I said, okay, I'll do it, but I want the class to only be 30 minutes because I want people to have any excuse to not do it. And 30 minutes is 2% of your day, everyone, just so you know, it's 2%. And I didn't want it to have a Netflix effect. I wanted people just to have access to the same class, take it as many times as they could, compare themselves to themselves, and then also be able to talk in the community about the class so that even though they were taking it in Denmark or New York or Santa Fe, that they were at whatever time was working for them, that they could talk about the same class. They could have that same in-class experience. And what's cool is when someone goes, oh my God, I just took this week's class and I'm so glad I did. I was having such a busy day. Someone goes, I'm going to go do it because you inspired me. I'm going to do it before it disappears. And so I really wanted that. And of course, because we take classes away, because there's not a lot of options, we don't have people like super excited about that. But I also know, I believe that's what's good for people. And so it started in 2017. In 2018, we moved platforms and we moved to online. My husband found onlinepilatesclass.com, just hanging out in the domains. So yes to that great SEO. And so we had that. We added a reformer class to it. So the people who have access to reformers could do it. And then it evolved into having other classes on there, but everything disappears. So some things are on there for a month and some things are on there for a week so that people have access to things. And here we are, like, what, oh my God, 7 years later, where are we? 8 years later. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Because to be completely honest, so many people don't give themselves permission to succeed. And so they won't sign up for a thing because they won't trust themselves to use it, because other things they sign up for, they haven't used. And so being consistent and showing people that they can do this is going to help them is like the biggest hill that I have to climb. But I've added other teachers on there as well, because I'm 5'9". I have a typical what people think is a Pilates body. Just so you know, if you have a body, it's a Pilates body. Like, it was designed by a man who's a boxer for men. So it's just that the dancers fell in love with it and the dancers proselytized it and took it out in the world. And so guess what? They were born, that was their body already. Yeah. So Pilates is for you. So I wanted to bring on other women of different ages, different backgrounds, different experiences. So we have mothers of multiple kids, some who have special needs. We have mothers who are full-time workers and they do Pilates on the side. We have non-moms. We have 6 feet tall women. We have 5 foot tall women, so that you can, if I am saying how to do the roll up and you're like, I don't get it, but then the fun size person does, you get it. Guess what? You bring what you got from her into my class. And that is part of that brave and courageous, like not trying to perform for me, but to do the exercise for you. And it's quite cool, the people we do attract, and then the people who, what they get out of it, they just have a much deeper relationship, and we have members for years.
I love that. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I think I have a few superpowers. I definitely think my strengths are it, but I think just my ability to see the glass half full is really helpful.
Yeah.
And it's quite the superpower, that because they say that like people who can see that are more positive than negative will fail, but they often succeed. And so they might be wrong a lot of the times, but they find a way. And I just think that superpower just keeps me being curious and continuing to go and believe that it's going to work, even though it's hard.
It's easy to be negative.
Oh my God. So easy. It's so easy.
For sure. How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
Yeah. So I think it evolves over time. I think when I was younger, success was like millions of dollars. And now that we live in the world we live in, you can make $1 million and not have $1 million. So like success to me, like my husband and I were actually saying it yesterday, like work is really hard. We love it, but it's hard. Every single day, there's a new challenge to come over. There's a tech thing that's not working. There's someone so that on the team.
As we experienced today.
Yeah, it's experienced today. It's experienced yesterday. There's some customer's computer doesn't want to load our thing, but everyone else is loading for it. There's all these things that can be such a distraction. And yet we have control over our schedule. We have control over what we do. We have control over if we actually help people. We can actually say, you know what, this might not be the best platform for you.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like I'm already successful. because I do have control over all of those things. And so to me, success is a combination of having control over your time and who you spend time with. And so yesterday, like, this is the craziest thing. Our health insurance company, who I would say was like the complete worst shit ever in the world, but this is where we are and this is the country I live in. They sent a contract company to come to our house and do our physical, blood pressure, lungs. I know, lungs, heart.
Wow.
And then, what doctors do you want to see this year? And I'm like, I'd like to see a dermatologist, please. And I'd like to get my mammogram, and I'd like to do this. She's like, okay, I'll have those referrals to you by next week. And I was like,
Holy shit.
I was like, are we being scammed right now? Are you for real? I feel like I'm being scammed. Are you going to steal from me? Are you taking, what?
Punked right now?
They even have our social security number. I'm like, are you sure? Something, I don't know. Is this real? But that happened in the middle of the workday, and I got to keep doing what I was doing. And I was like, oh, look how success, like, even having the worst health insurance in the world, which I would deem like is not successful. Yeah. I had control over being able to stop, pause, get that, and then keep going. And so I would just say, I think a lot of us are more successful than we give ourselves credit for because we haven't really defined it for ourselves.
Yeah. Beautiful. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after you learned it?
The most important things to learn is boundaries. And before learning it, burnout, always doing things for other people, not necessarily considering myself, keeping people in my life who like drove me crazy. And that includes family members, like all that stuff, right? Just like that, like just trying to people please, which is a boundary problem. And after boundaries, just so you know, people aren't excited about you putting boundaries in. So just so you know, you don't have like less arguments. However, if you uphold those boundaries, you do have less resentment. You actually have more time. You feel good. You don't burn out. And it's a sign of self-love.
Yes, for sure. You'll piss a lot of people off if you set up boundaries.
Oh my gosh. I have a family members. I had to stay at a hotel. I'm like, because I want to stay in a hotel. It's not about you. It's not about you.
This is the other thing is people tend to make it about themselves. And it's really not. 99% of the time, it's got nothing to do with you.
My mother-in-law gets it. I stay at a hotel for Christmas, right? They want to stay at their house. I stay at a hotel, and I like participate in the family thing. And then I'm like, okay, it's been 6 hours. I got to go back to the hotel. I'm going to go back to the hotel. And she said, oh, she's just like grandpa so-and-so. They just need to they recharge alone. And I have other family members who've known me for years, and they're like, I mean, it took us a long time to learn that you have to be by yourself, but okay. That makes you. And here's the thing though. So even them saying that is them trying to crouch the boundary. And I can take it two ways. I can go, oh, I can explain myself. I can go, thanks for understanding.
Yeah.
They don't have to like what your boundaries are, but if your boundaries are put in place so that you can be the best version of you, that is love, that is kindness. Yes. And it actually allows for healthy relationships to thrive.
Sure.
And also, if they cannot handle it, they can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That can be other people. And it's really
There's the door right there.
Yeah.
Don't let it hit you in the ass on the way out.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, of course, there's people who would like to go, people like to project their own stuff. Like other people go, oh, I can't believe you won't stay there. And you can't believe it because you would. But don't let those people who have the negative thoughts about whether your idea can work or whatever it is, they're projecting on you. You have to be so good. And if you don't have that muscle yet, don't share things with people until you have the muscle. Share them with the people who you know are going to cheer you on.
For sure. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Gosh, empowerment. What a great question. I really think it's like an autonomy thing. I think because I hope that I empower other people as well. But my ultimate goal is that they're autonomous, that they know they have agency. If my platform gets them moving, that's great. I'm glad you love me. I'm glad you love OPC. Of course, I wouldn't have created if I didn't want to create a whole community of people who love that. But the ultimate goal is that you are moving you. Like we are like a space for you to move you, but you are moving. You had to hit play. You had to put the mat on the ground. You had to do that. And to me, empowerment is just really like, how do we create a space where people feel like they have autonomy and agency and celebrate that?
Yes. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 2, 3, 4 word answer type thing. Okay. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Energetic.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
I hope it's my positivity.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Move.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
My laugh.
What's one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Oh, time.
That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question that I did not send you ahead of time.
Okay.
If you could take one feeling or one belief and bottle it up and give it to people, what would it be?
Grace. Oh, I wish I had been taught self-grace, self-kindness, grace for yourself,
Passion.
and then grace for others. Yeah.
Yeah. What is one lesson that your career has taught you that you think everybody should learn at some point in their life?
You can do anything you want. There's always an audience. There's always an audience. And you have to know that you can't do it for everyone. So it has to be for you, because otherwise
First
you're
and
going to
foremost.
hate it. Yes. Because you're going to hate it. Like
Yeah.
we just talked about all the shit that can go on all day long. You have to love what you do. Otherwise, this is going to be a slog. And you may as well go get a job with someone else and just do their slog, because then you can turn off at the end of the day.
Yeah, but why would you even want to do that? I mean,
I'm a very unemployable person, so I'm incapable of that. But I think a lot of people create things for others, resent them for not buying it, and then they've created a job they hate. So if you're gonna do it, you got to do it for you. You got to love it.
Absolutely. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
Oh my God, Brad, that's so hard. You've had this. I was like, I'm going to save these questions. These questions are amazing. You didn't ask me what Pilates is. And I think that question, while obvious, is important.
Go ahead, answer.
So everyone, Pilates is a strength-based practice. It is not for women to be flexible and ballerinas. It is for every body to have longevity, to balance imbalances, and to help you do the things that you want in life outside of it. So it's not about being so obsessed with Pilates, it's all you do. And then you can be perfectionist with it, but it's actually so you can go on a cobblestone road. So you could hike with your kids. So you can pick up your niece or your nephew without warming up for it. So you can join the football league on the weekends or retile the floor without pain. That's what Pilates is for. And it is one of the coolest things you can do. And please make sure you find teachers who are certified to do it. And you find people that make you excited to go and that make you excited to be curious in your body. And if they're counting for you and they're talking too much, then you know you can come to OPC, because that's where we actually help you be curious.
Beautiful. Thank you for explaining. If you could have any three people in the world, alive or dead, at your dinner table with you for dinner, who would those three people be and why?
I really want to know Mackenzie, I think her Scott, she donates billions of dollars, and I want to know her because I want to know how she invests it, how she does it. I want to be someone who's so rich they give away billions of dollars. I can't wait to be that person.
Yeah.
I think I want to meet Mother Teresa, and I'm not even Catholic, but like someone in the religious world, because I want to go back to what it was supposed to be and like really get questions answered there. And third person, alive or dead. I think like everyone says Oprah, but someone like Oprah or Jane Fonda, someone who's just like really made it, but like also has gone through a lot of struggles to get there, and just check in. What were the things you wish you were told during those things so I can go faster? Because they're not perfect. Jane Fonda's been arrested. Yeah. I think I want to know. What do you tell yourself every day when that's going on? Because not everyone likes you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
1-hour conversation with one woman. I had a best friend in high school that we fell away from each other, and she passed away very suddenly. And I think I would like a 1-hour conversation to just remind her how much I loved her, how much impacted my life, and like what she did for me. And also like check in with what I could have done differently as I grow older, because we grew apart for variety of reasons, but what could I have learned from that? Yeah. From her opinion, as opposed to what I think.
Yeah, that's beautiful. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Really like move out of your small town sooner than you think. It's okay to charge up the credit card to get the education. Don't doubt yourself and just keep going. Like you're going to be very successful. So just trust that.
Love it. Lastly, Lesley, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
You are the only person who can do what you do the way that you do it. You're it. So don't let anyone or anything stop you. You have to strengthen your body so you can be there for others. And really, most importantly, self-care isn't selfish care.
Beautiful. I love that. Lesley, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. It has been an absolute pleasure having the opportunity to sit and speak with you, share a little bit about the beautiful light you put out in the world through the work you do, your story, your journey. I appreciate you, and I am so grateful to have you as a member of the Empowerography community. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. This is so great. Again, you should get the award for best questions, most thoughtful, most inquisitive person of the year.
Thank you. I received that, and I appreciate that. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Lesley Logan. She is a certified Pilates teacher, breathwork, habits, and mindset coach, author, podcast host, and the founder of OPC, onlinepilatesclasses.com. Thank you so much, Lesley. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too, Brad.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca, follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast, and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.